Welcome to another crash course in Warframe. Today we're going to be covering things to help you, the new player, get familiar with the game's basic features. Now we're going to go ahead and assume that you just finished the tutorial and have selected your starting Warframe. Obviously you made the best possible decision backed up by your thorough research into each frame, which included my crash course videos, and if not, go ahead and delete your account and try again. Anyways, the first thing you're greeted with is a slightly modified version of our solar system. Each planet has a number of missions associated with it that are unlocked by completing each mission in sequence, or by grouping and finishing a mission with someone who's already completed it in the past. Now, if you want to change the way that you do missions, whether it be with your friends or by yourself or whatever, click up here at the top and select Online, Party, or Solo. Online will allow anyone to join your group. Party will allow only clan members and people on your friends list to join, but it's not invite-only system, so they can show up whenever they want. And Solo is for whenever you want to challenge yourself or experiment with Warframe or weapon builds in general, or basically anytime you know you're going to be leaving a mission without completing it. I want to reiterate that. At no time is it acceptable for you to plan on leaving a mission early unless you are running solo. Doing so has its repercussions. Not only will it disconnect your teammates, causing them to potentially lose any rewards they've picked up, but it's also guaranteed that you will lose all rewards, blueprints, drops, and pretty much anything except for experience, basically making it a complete waste of your time and everyone else's. Now, a few important tips to remember when doing a mission. 1, you have 4 abilities associated with your Warframe, but none of them can be used until you've leveled a few times. This is accomplished easily by completing missions. 2, if your buddy gets put into a down state, run over to him and hold X over his body. Sometimes you have to move around a bit to get it just right, but this is how you revive your teammates. You should always do this at all costs because most people will leave instead of using a revive, which will leave you to completing the mission a man down. 3, mods look like this. If it drops, you should aim at it and hit G to place a waypoint so that everyone can see it and pick it up. In some cases, people will ask for you to mark materials that are used for crafting too. And it could be anything. Most popular is like alloy plate and ruby dough, but if somebody asks you to mark something, be a dude and do it. 4, find and open any lockers whose lights are green and any canisters or storage bins you find throughout the map. They will give you ammo, credits, energy, and health orbs, and affinity, which acts as Warframe's experience and is used to level your Warframe and weapons. By now you've completed a few missions and we're at your arsenal screen. We can see that you've earned a few ranks here and there. So what do? Well, first, let's take a look at your Warframe. Down here at the bottom, you're gonna see a handful of mods that are your frame's core abilities. This is indicated by the equals sign type symbol in the upper right corner. Take those abilities and put them in the slot that has the matching symbol, and you'll notice the amount of power it requires will change. This holds true anytime you match a mod and slot symbol. Conversely, anything that does not match will actually cost you more. Now, you probably noticed that your fairly new frame can't support all of your abilities. This is because the maximum amount of power allotted for mods is increased every time your Warframe levels. The same also holds true for each of your weapons. The rate of gain is 1 power per level unless you build an Orokin reactor or catalyst by way of blueprint acquisition, which is a little rare, or purchasing using platinum, which is pretty cheap, and in my opinion, this and Warframe and weapon slots is where your starter platinum should go. Don't spend starter platinum on revives or boosts. Just don't do it. These Orokin items, commonly referred to as potatoes, will supercharge the item they are permanently installed on and will double the amount of power it gains, maxing out at 60 instead of 30. Speaking of mods, mod fusion is a super important part of Warframe and can be extremely granular. I'm going to briefly go over the basics of fusion now and possibly expand on this later on. Note that as of right now, you can't fuse a mod that is installed on anything. Be sure to remove it first. This is something that I'm sure will be fixed later, but you have to remove it first, and then you can go into the mod screen and start doing fusion and everything. Okay, so this is your mod screen, and after a few missions, you'll notice that you have a few duplicates. These can be fused for pretty cheap, and if fusing them ranks them up, then they become more powerful and thus will require more power from the weapon or Warframe that equips them. You can fuse anything you want into anything else, but the cost to benefit ratio changes based on the mod's rarity and type. And it may not be worth it, based on the increase in credits that you're gonna spend when doing so. Also, do not try and quickly fuse several mods into each other because you may inadvertently fuse something important, and there are no takebacks once the process is complete. Fusion cores, these right here, are basically generic mods that can be sold or used to boost the ranking of any other mod, regardless of its type. But I'd recommend running a few missions instead of selling these off, as their value in the fusion process is typically greater than their worth in credits. Now you're probably wondering, where can I get blueprints to build these organ thingies and many other pieces of gear in Warframe? Well, you can buy a bunch in the cash shop using credits pretty easily, but this isn't always as easy as it looks because you'll still have to go and farm the materials. And if it's a Warframe blueprint, you're only purchasing the ability to combine the pieces you've built from blueprints you've acquired through gameplay. So for example, if you want to build a Rhino, you have to farm up a Rhino chassis, a Rhino helmet, and Rhino systems. Once you build those, then you could get this blueprint from the market and combine all of them to build a Rhino. Now these blueprints will drop from killing various bosses. The best way to figure out who drops what is by checking the Warframe wiki. And I know I made it sound pretty daunting and how you build all this stuff, but I personally have built 7 out of my 12 frames along with countless weapons, and I still have stacks of blueprints in my inventory, so it can definitely be done. Another place to get rare blueprints that aren't otherwise available anywhere else is by completing alert missions that have a question mark as one of the rewards. The best way to find out what that question mark might be is by following @WarFrameAlerts on Twitter or by checking the alerts forum on the official website. But if you're new, you're gonna wanna run all of these anyways because you obviously don't have whatever the item is. But a really important note I wanna add to this is that you will not see alerts for missions that you do not have access to. So if you've not unlocked anything, if you're brand new, you're not gonna see any alerts. The best way to get in on these alerts, first off, you wanna go and level yourself up a little bit, that way you're not dead weight. But go to the forums, and some people on there, they're nice. They'll go ahead and they will invite you to their party, so that way you can participate in that alert, and then you could go in like that. So there are ways of getting into these things without actually going through the process. But again, want to reiterate, please go through and level up your character a little bit, that way you're not dead weight. Now, if you've done a few of these, you've probably come across what's called an artifact. These are passive items that are equipped when preparing for a mission. They provide a range of perks from bonus damage done by specific weapons to passive energy gain. And a few of the bonuses actually stack, so you definitely want to try to get some of these. And lastly, every time something in your arsenal levels, you gain what's called Mastery rank. And once you're ready to get promoted to the next rank, this area will blink, and you'll be allowed to test out in an arena similar to the tutorial area. Now this is important to rank up because certain weapons are only available to those that have a certain mastery rank. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to check out my Crash Course videos on Warframe by clicking here. And of course, if you want more Warframe related content, amongst all the other crap that I do, be sure to subscribe. My name's Mike, aka Phony, and once again, thanks for watching. I'll see ya.